Welcome back to another episode of The Road to 2200. I'm 1922. My opponent is 1798. Let's see if we can continue our upward climb. Okay. Just a regular d5. We're going to see like e6 or knight f6. Interesting. My opponent is pondering their second move. I guess knight f3 is a little weird. Most people would play c4 here. And then, like, let's say this person, I don't think they were looking to go into a Nimzo, but it might have messed them up a little bit. So I'll go here. And then I'm taking here next. Pretty much no matter what they do. Unless, of course, they take me. Then we're going to QGA. And we'll see how that goes. I don't see a lot of QGAs, to be honest. I look forward to playing against a QGA. And it's kind of a slower time control and really having to stew with it a bit and learn it more. Okay, so we're taking, assume they're taking with the pawns to take with the knight. It's kind of a disaster. All right, I'll just go here, here, and if you've been here before, you've seen these moves. This is my standard procedure. Get the pieces developed, get castled, play chess. It's a pretty great system. I quite like it. All right, I'll go here. There's a big question of when to take there, and the answer is not yet. I want to wait till after they play this bishop out. So like if they go here, I'll immediately take. And then they'll take, and then I'll go here. And the reason is because we're getting the minority attack in a little early. Right now the bishop's covering that square. Okay, that's a very reasonable spot. I'm going to go here. I'm going to guess they're going to go there. It seems like a lot of people like to do that. If I go here, they go here, and they're like, ah! I'll attack it, and you can't back it up easily. I don't know that it's good, but a lot of people do it. And if they do that, I'm immediately taking there. Dream would be if they would go here. That's the dream. And then I get to take it for free. What I mean by that is they have taken a move to prompt me to do the thing I want to do. Okay. Got a kind of an interesting idea that if they put the bishop here, I never go here. And I wonder if that is actually a good plan. They take, I take, and then I'm threatening to go here, here. So they probably have to go there. Then I go here, here, and I guess that's fine, right? They slip the bishop back. So it's probably not a great plan for me. Just things I'm looking at. Okay, so they moved the knight first, which is kind of problematic because you can see now this bishop literally can't move. So that's why most people don't do that. But maybe the idea is they're going to go here, here. And that could be reasonable. If they go here, I will take there. Now they take there. Now they go there. Now I don't think I want to take. Although I had this position recently and it didn't work out well. So it was like here, then like here, here. And I think they went here, then drove him back. And then they went in here, and it was kind of annoying. The engine liked me just taking there. I don't know if this is similar, different. What do I want to do here? I don't think I need to trade here. I think I'll go here. And then if they go here and push me back and go here, I'm okay with that. Then their king is quite airy. I can do things like this and immediately be at least, you know, being annoying on the bishop, on the diagonal. I'm not saying it does anything, but it's, you know, it's a little bit of at least pseudo pressure. I've been working through Gelfon's positional something book. It's quite good, and he has some funny lines in there, which is like, you know, computers don't play chess, humans play chess. So like phantom pressure adds up against humans, where an engine might be like, no, it's fine, like what are you worried about, because it can calculate so perfectly. But humans aren't computers, so a position that is theoretically equal or even worse for you If it has a lot of pressure, might cause your opponent to make mistakes. Sort of an obvious statement, but still true. I guess I'm seeing the issue they're having is they can't go here. I think they need to go here, so then if they go here and I take, they can take back. Never mind, I'm being foolish, because if they go here and I take, they take back this way. And now I can't take here anyway. So after here, I can't do it there because the queen is guarding it. So it seems like a reasonable move to me. I see a lot of people play knight e4 here. It seems like a good idea. We'll trade the bishops. Most likely. I don't see why I wouldn't. But then maybe I can go here, which I think is a reasonable place for the queen anyway. And then I can just take. Better yet, take. And so, but they could go here. So maybe it would be best just to prep it. But they could always respond with that. They're taking a lot of time. We have a giant time advantage. Almost 4 entire minutes on move 10. Which is quite interesting. I mean, I know what I want to do in this opening very clearly. Like, my plans are incredibly clear. Whereas it feels like my opponents just are not. And that feels like a very strange move. Now they can't even move this guy. Maybe their thought is they're going to go here, here, and then take. But they could already do that with this. They didn't need to use that move. What do I want to do? So do anything I'm missing, I think is what I want to find out. Like if they go here, I'm just going here anyway. If they go here, I don't know. I'm just going to do my normal plan of going here. Rook b1, pushing these pawns, undermining this over here. Often what's happening is this becomes a backwards pawn, and then I just torment it the whole game. And it's kind of the slow and plotting, annoying game for my opponent that I'm very happy with. I've had a lot of opponents offer me a draw as I get the position I want because they're so flummoxed and like, wait, this is good? Like, this looks bad. I'm like, no, this is what I've been working towards. Okay, so I am still covering this pawn. I don't technically have to do anything about this, and maybe I don't. Maybe I just say that's fine. If they go here, I go here, and then they go here. Then I have to move, but I'm still, everything's still fine. So I don't think I have to go here. I think now I can just push the pawn as I want. I just want to make double sure that's true. Yeah, looks fine. I don't have to do anything about it yet. I do need to file that away, right? I can't forget that this is in danger. But worst case goes back. So like, it's not a mate threat. It's just a win a pawn threat. I'm guessing we're going to see g5. Okay, I was not guessing we would see that. That is a weird move. Okay, that's very aggressive. It's not guarded. Okay, I want to look at this. Okay, that doesn't work because they can take this way, hitting it. I think I just want to go here. I'm actually looking at going here. But that would end up dropping a pawn in the long run. So I think I go here. I assume they take. I take. And then I don't really know what they've gained by all of this. Like this knight doesn't look great here. At any moment I can just move this knight, say here, and this is hanging. And then this knight could go here. I don't know. It just doesn't look like it does very much. It looks out of place. And I assume they're going to take with the bishop. And then when they do, it's kind of like you spent a lot of time putting these 3 pieces like this in this coordination that ended up gaining you nothing. And if that's the case, if it really did gain you nothing, boy, that was a lot of investment to get nothing. So I think that's what they're wrestling with now. They're like, really? all that and it amounted to absolutely zero. That's horrible. I'm looking at something else interesting in the position. If I could get a rook here, this is just hanging because of the what did I call it? The OK Corral, the showdown. Boy, I don't even know my own chessboard course anymore. But yeah, there's a potential showdown in the position. If you don't know that, well, I mean, my chessboard course would be a great thing to get, but it is when you have two pieces on the same row, I mean the same file with something in between. In this case, just that pawn. So that pawn is pinned. If I could get a rook on c1. If I put my queen there, it's not as useful. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, when they push the pawn one more spot, it's pretty annoying, I guess. I think I take, though. And then they take. And then I think I can just push here and knock him back. And he's got to go back here, blocking the rook. Which looks great, and then that actually falls. I think I might have even won a pawn here. I'll have to check if that works because there will be the discovery when the knight moves. But I will have this takes off of the discovery, so it'd be like knight moves here. I guess that is a pretty decent discovery because this knight would be no, because then when I would take and I'm hitting the queen. Yeah, so I think I can win that pawn. I think that was a pretty big mistake. And it really came from just overextending that knight for no particular reason, really. Other than just, you know, it looked optically aggressive. But sometimes something that looks aggressive isn't actually all that aggressive. Yeah, my opponent's kind of like, oh, really? Not only did I get nothing out of this attack, I'm losing a pawn? These are the games where I'm like, huh, maybe I'm getting okay at chess, right? Like maybe I'm getting better. I was instantly able to identify that my opponent had nothing and was just sort of putting their pieces in not great squares, which is kind of great. It's kind of great to feel like you're making progress. I will say this is a little annoying when it comes, because if I take here and they take here, their pieces are pretty aggressively placed. Okay, so this is why I get to take the pawn. Like if I get to take this pawn, it really solves a lot of problems. To the point where I think my opponent is trying to decide if they just say I'm pushing the pawn anyway. Right, push the pawn, I take the knight, they take, I take. Suddenly my king is not vulnerable, but not as protected. But I don't think there's anything there. I think that would be akin to resigning, but resigning in an active way, which is, you know, always the tough thing with chess, especially reading through commentary on older games. It's like almost all the games have the same commentary, which is like back then people didn't seek out active counterplay when they were losing. They just passively lost. But I think there's a real balance in trying to figure out what does active counterplay look like. I don't think giving up the knight is active counterplay. I think that's just losing. So we'll see what they've got up their sleeve. It looks like their sleeve is barren. That's what it looks like. But perhaps I'm wrong. I can't even find a move here because it feels like you have to move the knight back. I guess we should calculate a little more, right? Takes, I mean, goes there, takes the pawn. Can they do anything with this knight that's reasonable? We looked at here, but it's here, hitting the queen, so they almost have to take. No, that pawn's gone, actually. So they have to take, and then I can just go back here and take that way. And I've gotten two pawns, and I'm really in business. I mean, maybe the answer is you just move back, you give up the pawn, and you say, that's fine. I'm getting enough. Like that, I wanted that file open anyway, And now it is, and now I should be able to take advantage of that. I think that's what you have to say as white here. I mean as black. And just kind of hope that that's going to be enough. I don't think it will be, but I think it's reasonable to say I'll hang my hat on that and hope that it works out. What I'm kind of hoping they do is move that knight, the D knight, to say maybe here. Looks like the only spot. I think I might take here with the idea that then I just get to jam my knight in here. And it is pretty rooted. The best thing they can do probably is come back to try to trade it off. And then I get to do that trick where you follow up with F4. And then the best they can do is take. And then you're just like, boom. I've got this incredible pawn center here that's like unstoppable, undeniable. This pawn here, unfettered, seems to really control a lot of important squares. It's also a passed pawn. Like that's kind of what I'm eyeing towards as a possible plan here. Is can I jam my knight into e5? I can't now because they would just take with their knight. And I definitely don't want that. The funny thing is I had this minority attack plan that I got to start in a way I liked, but my opponent played in such a way that it's kind of like, well, we'll come back to that, right? When we need to create a weakness over there, we will. But right now, I want a pawn. So I'm feeling pretty great. Also, I have this check that I didn't talk about. I have 2 checks. Just, they don't do anything right now, but if they try to do some sort of discovery, it could be relevant. Probably not, though. So my opponent really running low on time. I mean, 4:30 left on move 16. I'm up almost 10 minutes. I mean, this person has really struggled with what's usually a fairly straightforward, benign opening. And it's one of the reasons I like it so much, right? Like, I know all my plans. I feel great about this opening. I know basically all the different things that can happen that I want to do. It's the beauty of being able to play an opening where you know you're going to get a pretty similar position and that you've really spent some time looking at it, right? So for me, it's not about, I haven't spent my opening time memorizing move orders. I've spent my opening time thinking deeply about where I want my pieces, what pieces I want to trade, what my plans are. Okay, so that's a weird move. I guess it's reasonable. Maybe the idea is they're going to go here. If I take, they take here, and then this diagonal is open, but there's no way to really complement it. I don't think I take there, right? That just feels foolish. Yeah. I'm also thinking I might end up going like that. So where do I want this bishop? Here or here? I think probably here is right. Hitting the most squares here. Yeah, at some point I could go here. And in fact, I might just go here to put that pressure on this knight. I don't quite understand what this knight move was doing, unless it was hoping to go here. But like that discovery did not do anything. So I'm not entirely sure what the point was. And that doesn't seem to do anything either. I do want to make sure. Because it's definitely better positioned now. Okay, so interesting move could be here because they almost have to go here. Then I go here though, they go here. I could check. I don't see that I get anything. I'm going to do a little deep calculation here for a second. There. Yeah. I don't really see that that gets me anything. Yeah, I don't know. I think probably the idea is to go here. And then if they take, I get to go here. I'm hitting this. I just want to check one more time that this doesn't do anything. I have like a queen blind spot sometimes. I think this does nothing. All right, we're going to go here. Now kind of move on to the next phase, which is like we got up a pawn. Now we're going to induce a bunch of weaknesses in our opponent's camp. And then once we've accomplished that, then we're kind of in business. If we look at this knight right now, by the way, it is really struggling for squares. So it's like it can go here, which maybe isn't the worst, but it's not doing that much over there. And I would just take it and saddle them with bad pawns. So I don't know. I don't know what they got. They can't really take there because that knight move looks really annoying for them. What I mean is if they take, I go knight takes d5. I'm hitting the queen. I even have this square. I have potentially this square. Now maybe I do want to do things like this. Or even this. Hitting this diagonal. Like, stuff is happening. I think this was a good move. And my opponent, down to 2 minutes 40 seconds. We're on move 18. My opponent is taking their time as if this is an intricate tactical position, and I am playing as if it is a smooth flowing positional understanding game, which is, I don't know, it's interesting to reflect on. It feels like they're really trying to solve every problem through tactics, which is why they're taking so much time, or they just have such a non-understanding of the position that they are struggling to even find moves. But it just feels like moving the queen here was a bad idea. Moving the knight there was a bad idea. If we go back just a couple moves, yes, I want a pawn here, but you could just maybe move this knight, you know, try to contest the bishop that way. Okay, so they made a move. They went there. Okay, I mean, that's the move I expected them to make. I think I take here and then take here. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I'll just take. It'd be interesting to take here to try to pressure that way. I don't think it does anything. I mean, the nice thing is now they can at least bring this knight in. But I am going to go here. I assume they'll go here. And then I'm a bit tempted to go here. I guess what I don't like is after they move this, then they can move that with a discovery. I'm trying to decide if I go here. Pulls the defender away a bit, but does put another defender on that. Okay, this is what their plan is. Now I see it. It's to go like here and then there. That's really all they can muster at this point. And then that would be interesting. It wouldn't be good, but it would be interesting. So, how do I want to deal with that? Interestingly, I could go here. I'm hitting this pawn. If they decided to go here, and I took here, I could take here. They're threatening mate, which is annoying. But I could take here, check, covering here. I just don't know if I want to try to solve this problem with tactics. That's really what I'm wrestling with. So I don't think I have to. I think probably the best answer is to go here, chase him off of this file. Where is he going to go? I think he will go here. And then if that happens, I go. Problem is this stuff. The knight doesn't have anywhere good to move. It would have to go that way. Oh, I could put my queen here. Oh, I like this. So it's here, 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 bishop, queen here. I'm starting to put a lot of pressure on there. Okay, I like this. And if here takes, here, here seems to hold everything together. So I think this works. And the reason why I think this works so well, my pawn structure is just so solid that I can afford to do something like this. And this looks, I think, pretty promising for my opponent, but I think this just is very challenging to deal with. Yeah, I think I just go here and say, What? Are you going to sack a piece to trade rooks? Like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. As soon as this bishop moves, this rook is in. Then maybe, you know, like hitting this. I could go here, here. Blockading that pawn. I've got a lot of possibilities. In fact, I'm either thinking of doing that next or coming around like this next. I will say this is a backwards pawn now, and my opponent can lean on it. But I do have stuff like, first of all, I could just put the rook behind it. But second of all, I can go here. I can't do it quite yet because everything is hitting this. And so this is pinned. Or sorry, this needs to not be pinned is what I'm trying to say. But again, my opponent is just like going in the tank. You can't go in the tank on every move in a 15-10 game. You just can't do it. I saved up my time. I went into the tank for like 2 or 3 minutes on the last move. I mean, I guess I'm forgetting my opponent is, you know, 130 points lower rated than me. Maybe there is a skill gap there. It's just hard with ratings these days to know, like, what does that even mean? All right, since my opponent's taking forever, I'm going to check my messages. My wife has messaged me like a million times. Anything important? No, nothing. There were texts meant for my daughter. Okay, cool. Back to the game. 1 minute remaining. I wonder if they've just said, forget it, I'm done, and this is their way of resigning. Some people do this. Well, this has been a weird game, right? It's just been a very one-sided, that rare game where it just feels like nothing huge happened, but my opponent got completely steamrolled, which is just very interesting. I wonder if there's some counterplay, though, to be had here with c5. Okay, that's not a resignation. I really thought it was. All right, so what's the point of that? I think it's to go here and then maybe to go in here, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Perhaps it's just to be able to free that up, to be able to go takes, and trade or something. I don't know. I'm going to go, I think here to go here. That just seems like a strong idea. Eventually, I'll probably be able to go like here. The other route would be here. I'm just worried that, like, if I do nothing, this looks reasonable to me. It looks like they have some degree of counterplay. So I'm going to go here just to try to knock that counterplay out. I go here. This is blockaded. There's a long-term weakness. I don't need to worry about it yet. You know, as we get later in the game, I will start piling up on it. This is not as good as it looks because this looks terrible. I would just take, and then their pawns are once again a complete wreck. I guess they could go here after I go here, but that doesn't work. It would drop a piece. I don't know what this does. It just seems like it does nothing, like most of their moves this game. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Again, just making my pieces better. This feels like a very nice spot for the knight. I've kind of moved my knight from c3 to c5, and it just looks better there. Okay. Do I want to play a4? That's the question. Is that a weakening move or a strengthening move? It is weakening in that b4 is now very weak. Can this knight get to b4? It will get there from here or here. Both of those would be hard to do. So this looks like a good move. It also takes away this square. So now the only move for this knight is here, which would be a debacle. Also now I can go here. This looks very strong to me. I think they almost have to move. Oh, they can't move the bishop anywhere. Oh, lordy. This is just such a bad game. Okay, they will be able to go here when I put my rook there, which is funny. It's like that's the best they got. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, they just can't even move the bishop. All right, I'm going to go here and force this move. Like, if that's the best they have, then okay. I'm fine with that. I'm then going to go here. Okay, so I do need to go there. I think I go here. And then if they go here, I'm here. Everything is defended. At some point, I might want to go. No, I don't want to go there. I can go here if I want. And then it's like takes, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to go here and say, I feel like I'm just making my pieces better and better and better. And my opponent is just really struggling to not make their pieces worse every move. I do now have rook b8, which I think is strong. If takes, now I have this rook attacking both of these guys. Okay, and they can't go there. Wow. All right, we're just going to do the plan. Just go up and say, nope, you can't have anything. You literally get nothing. Nothing. Perfect. Okay, so does this win? That's the question. They have to move the knight, or they have to take. I take. What can they do? No, this does not win, because they could just move and that's backed up. Let me see. So I go there. They can't. They just can't move the bishop anywhere reasonable. Ooh, I also have this thing in the position. That's the unfortunate diagonal. It doesn't work right now. But if that pawn wasn't there, it would work. The pawn on c6. I don't think I want to try something cute there. So there. So they would have to move the knight. Where can the knight move? The knight could move to here, I guess, if I went here. So it was like here, other rook, knight here. This works really well. Look at this. Knight takes, has to take this way. Boom, wins the game. All right, I think we tactically won this game finally. I think we were able to do it. Now, did I make a mistake here? I don't know. This is the problem. I'm not a tactical genius. That was a pretty deep tactic. That I didn't even double check. I just went, looks good. That's not how you win chess games. That is how you blow one chess games. My position just feels so overwhelming. I don't really know what else they can do. I'm not sure why I claimed they can't go here. What was my reasoning again for that? I said they can't go there. Oh, I think this would win. Okay, so that was the move they had to make. I go here. They can't take there. So I go there. They have to take... Wait, I go here. Yeah, they can just take here. So my plan doesn't work at all. That's annoying. Okay. Can I do something better? Takes here. Here. And then that bishop is... Yeah, and I don't like how that looks actually at all. So, what do I do? Okay. I could go here still. They would take here. I could go... Ooh, then this would be hanging at the end. Not good. This is kind of interesting. If they take here... I take here. They take here. I take here. What is that? I go here, sacking a piece to get a piece. They take. I go here. I go here, sacking the piece. I go here. They take here. I go here. And then it is rooks. I'm up a pawn. They're going to have to go like there to protect this pawn. Then I go here. Then they go here. I go here. That, I think, works. So let's just double check that. So it was here, which is a little risky. But they just move. Let's say I go here and they take here. I go here. They go like there. That seems fine. Okay, I'm going to do this move. I think this move works. Again, trying to be very cute and tactical is not always the best answer. Why did I think this worked, actually? How does this work? I go here. Okay. Yeah, I guess I get this. And then if here, it's here. And if here, it's here. All right, I don't know. There probably was more to be had in this position. Another factor that I didn't keep in mind was that my opponent is down so low on time. Like, why allow them this situation where it's like I simplify the position a ton for them to have 20 seconds left? So I don't think I played this great, this end. I felt like I had an incredibly dominating position, and then I've traded down to something good. Like, I'm still up a pawn. I'm about to go up a second pawn, but I probably have to give them counterplay in the process. Like, if they go here, 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 they're going to get some play. I don't know if it's enough, but they're going to get something. I'll probably go here, and then if they go check here. Okay, they just ran out of time because it was too much. Okay, let's take a look. Interesting game for sure. We'll take a look at it. Some pretty normal moves in the beginning. Yep, all normal stuff. This is the #1 move, apparently. Okay, that's a little weird, but it's fine. A lot of people do something like that. This was the move that I was like, what? This is when they did that thing where for a bunch of moves in a row, they just kind of did nonsense. Like these 3 moves in a row, I bet the computer says I'm up like 0.6. 0.8. 0.8. Yeah, it just keeps on getting a little bit worse. This makes it equal. Oh, unless they don't. If they take. If they go here and I go here, then they get to be like, well, I got a weakness out of you for all those wasted moves. Engine says I should have played this, which I looked at. I didn't love because I felt like now after this, let's say I go here and then they go here. I was worried that now I can't go here. This doesn't work as well. Takes. They win a pawn. The engine says, no, this is awesome. What are you talking about? This is a great position for you. And, you know, okay, I'm down a pawn. I'll end up with the doubled on the F file if I want. Another move, though, that the engine likes even more is to go here. Takes. And now this does not look amazing to me. I can't do this all in one move. So, I don't know. Let's say my opponent just develops normally looking kind of hard. We'll say this. Engine says I can go here to threaten this a second time. Let's say they back it up like this, making just kind of bad moves. Then I would, nope, sorry, that's not the move. Bishop F4, hitting the queen to get a free move to be able to go here probably. So it goes here, yep, then to go here. And now suddenly I think we can see like this is picking up. Like that's a real attack. So I have a hard time sometimes with that kind of stuff. We didn't get to that position anyway, but I'm not sure I would have played it. Okay, well, where are we? We are back here. They brought their guy and I went here, and then they didn't take, and I saw the nice little combo of takes, kicks him back, goes back, bishop takes, and unless my opponent has something here, now I'm just winning, and they do not. And this move is kind of like, what? Like, why are you doing that? I get that you want to do the discovery, but if the discovery means making one of your pieces substantially worse and letting my piece go back to a perfectly reasonable square, it's kind of pointless. Maybe save that for later. The computer suggests something like this, and then maybe here, and you've got something. You're down a pawn. You're clearly worse, but who knows? Anything's possible. I could make a mistake. But going here is just kind of like nothing, right? You have nothing. And then they go here again, you know, a threat that's not actually there. So I just push, making a weakness, takes, make that weakness. And now I'm up a pawn, and they have this weak square, and they have one trick left, which is this idea. I saw this idea, so I decided to go here. They took, and that's it. The game's over, basically. Now they're just down a pawn with weaknesses and nothing to show for it. And now the knight is like dancing to La La Land. Now I've locked this up. Now we've locked that up. The knight has to reroute around here just to protect that pawn, and the computer says I'm up 4. So the question will be, when I did the transformation, did I do it right? Okay, this is all right. Now this is where I feel like I should have gotten more. And the engine says, you are winning here. I am winning. And that move is a great move. It's not the winning move, but it's a great move. Okay, so the computer says, yes, you transformed it perfectly. For me, it feels a little weird because it's kind of like, I don't know. Does it look that good? This is what I was worried about. This. And now they've got a little something. Computer says go here. I think I was planning to go here, actually. I think it's the same. Here. I assumed they would go here to hit this pawn. I would go here. They would collect this pawn. And I thought I was winning here. And the computer says, what do you mean you thought you were winning here? Like, you're crushing here. But I just was like, do I want to give them that much counterplay? I was going to. But that's why I was just wondering, was the transformation good enough? And the computer agrees that this transformation is very good. I should easily be able to convert this. I've got a passer here. I've got a 3-on-2 over here. My opponent has nothing. So I'm very happy with how I played this game. I was a little worried about the transformation, but they're all #1 moves except one. This move, my move is good. And the more the computer looks at it, the more the computer likes my idea actually better. No, my computer doesn't. The computer says this is the move. That it's slightly better than my move. And then if they take here, I take here, and I'm clearly winning. I'm up a piece. If I take here and they take here, then I just go here. And I saw that in some line I was looking at, and then it didn't work out. Yeah, I don't know. But in the end, it was well played. I want to look at the computer analysis. I feel like this might be one of my best games as far as like being accurate on nearly every move, making the perfect move, which is pretty great if that is the case. So it does label this winning move as an inaccuracy. Okay, that's fine. Computer's got to be computer, right? And it gives me one more inaccuracy, and it says I played a 96% game. So that's a good feeling. Where's the other inaccuracy? It's here. Ah, yes. It was this idea of going here instead of going here. Okay. So yeah, I felt good in the game. I felt like, you know, kind of my takeaway is that when you have a good position, kind of just keep making it better. And when you are in a bad position, you need to make active moves. My opponent made a lot of very, very passive moves, right? So we can look at this move being a really bad move. Not bad as in like it loses anything, but it's like, I don't know, you need to do something if you're in a bad position. And then like this idea of being willing to trade off the queens here, I just don't think is a good idea. Now you really have nothing, and then this knight is passive the whole time. I'm not saying there were better moves there, but I don't know. Trying to have active defense is good. Another takeaway is my opponent just, like, they did this attack thing in the beginning where they just wasted a lot of moves in a row. Look, like the bishop's already developed. This bishop is not developed. This knight is not in a great spot. They move the bishop, then they attack with the queen, then they move the knight a second time. So both of these pieces move twice to do an attack that does not exist when this guy hasn't moved, this guy hasn't moved, this guy hasn't moved. It's kind of like those very basics of like develop your pieces that I think we all get to this point where we're like, no, I don't have to do the basics anymore. I see it. I see the matrix. I got this attack. And it's like, it would be very unlikely that you would have an attack in this position. Like, chess sense should just tell you this is not a real attack, right? I've got very strong defenders over here. This defender's involved. This defender, like the king's pawn structure's part, like there just is not an attack here. And to take all that time to try to generate one should violate your sense of chess. I think that's just something my coach will say a lot, is like there's like this, I don't know, the way chess works, and sometimes like that violates it. All right, so that was a good game. We gained 7 points. We're at like 1929. The road to 2200 is afoot, and I'll see you next time.